All right. So in this other experience, this was actually last night. This is super recent, just wild. I actually ran into Kevin and some other guy with glasses and facial hair on the real side. We were at a library, and all the shelves were full of what looked like new books. They had the little new logos on them, so I kind of figured those were new books. I asked Kevin who the other guy was, and he said that it was Jeremy. I was so confused, man, because he looked nothing like the real guy Jerma that Rebisar introduced me to a few weeks ago. And so I asked about that, and the guy said he's Jeremy the new friend. I'm like, no way, dude. It's great to finally meet you on the real side. I apologized for interrupting the Saturday session a couple weeks ago, and he said it was fine. So cool, we're all squared away. We hung out for a bit and read some new books together. It was all pretty cool. But then some other dude runs into the library right over to us. He had this long golden hair. He said his name was like Guppy Duh, I think. It was a weird name. I don't know if that's right, but that's what it kind of sounded like when he told us. Anyways, he runs over. Oh, yeah, that must be it.
Gopal does, yes.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He runs over to us and introduces himself and tells Kevin and I that we need to leave the library immediately. I'm like, what, why? And Kevin seemed pretty confused too. And that only made us more confused. I looked back and forth at Kevin. We didn't really know what was going on. But Kevin got up and told Jeremy and I that we should probably leave the library. And Jeremy and I got up, but no joke, dude. A huge crack started forming in the ground, and the whole library caught on fire in an instant. It was terrifying, man. Kevin and what was it, Gopal? Gopal got out of there. I looked around, and all the new books were burning, man. I couldn't do anything to save them. And to make the whole thing worse, then someone else with dark chains around her flew through the burning wall. I think it was Kelsey, man. It looked like Kelsey. She waved at me and flipped me off, so I figured it kind of had to be her. Then Jeremy stepped forward and said that he was there for Kevin. I was like, Kevin, really? He said, yeah, the dark forces want Kevin. I think he said they wanted to eat him or capture him or something, but not really sure. I didn't let them through, though, because I did not want them to take Kevin. And I didn't run, even though the smoke was getting pretty bad. It was getting pretty hard to see, but thankfully the crack in the ground was glowing enough to help me see a little better. Then one of them threw like a grenade or something at me, and I jumped to the side to avoid it. This was Fortnite reflexes. Then I thought maybe I could do the same thing that worked on the Supreme Deceptor. I said, my turn. I summoned Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck, which gave me the 3 cards, like last time. But before I could do anything else, one of them threw a knife that stabbed me right around the stomach. Went right through the scales. There wasn't any like blood, of course, which was pretty painful. But I also heard someone behind me. It was Gopal Das. He started pulling me out of the library. And once he got me out of there, he pulled the knife out of me, and I was fine, so I shapeshifted back into a human. Then Gopal told us that the dark forces are trying to make agreements with the new friends because it like puts them in a good position to take down the efforts of helping people become more aware, or something along those lines. That's so messed up, bro, but it makes sense. It kind of makes me worry if the same thing happened to Rick after he was talking to Kelsey, because I haven't heard from him. And I hope Phil might have, but I guess we'll find out. Anyways, I look back at the burning library, which really sucked to see all those new books burning. And Kelsey, man, I mean, the whole Hilton Hotel hatred thing was kind of weird, so maybe I should have seen that one coming. Anyways, that's it. That's the experience. I'm not sure what happened after that. And I really hope that Kevin and Gopal are doing okay.
Well, yeah, that's fine. And that's quite amazing, Eric. Really. I know that's just an experience for you, but that's quite a lot. Yeah, Miss Kelsey has really made a choice here this time. She's really I'm just amazed. We've known Kelsey a long time, and she's went back and forth, and this time she's just really off her rocker. Yeah, I've seen this before because the information and knowledge people get, they don't know how to handle it all the time, and they start just doing funny things. I've seen it before, and even to the point where they think they're like gods, etc. And all gods are self-proclaimed, and people are worshiping a reptilian Kalam god who's on the fourth level, etc. And that's what they're worshiping because there are no gods. These are stories we were told since we were young, and because most of the world believes it, has been told this, because people want an authority to look to that will save them from whatever's taking place on the earth, so they'll more than gladly look to some deity or something. And many, every culture's even invented their own deities or whatever, and they're all self-invented. These are actually the ancient astronauts and all this nonsense, etc. And they want to keep influencing and promoting all this stuff, and they promote and they do all the stuff in the movies, like you do the gaming, and then they have the movies and all that. They promote all that. They promote destruction. They promote people to battle each other, etc. So you just keep the reincarnation going, etc. And it's never about awareness. It's never about becoming more aware and okay and getting through this. No, it's never about that. It's always about some kind of restriction. Some kind of rule or this or that or belief or tradition or any of this nonsense, any of these ideas that keep people captive. And seeing through all this in the awareness, it's a lot. Kevin and Jeremy are very young at this, Kelsey too, etc. And this is what happens many times. It's like parents raising their children, and they're really cute, at a certain age, up to 6, 8, 9, and 10, but pretty soon, all of a sudden, probably 7, 8, 9, whatever, they start to become the teenagers before they become the teenagers. They have attitudes, they start doing this or that, they see the routines of the parents, they, do their tricks, do things to get what they want, etc. And eventually, it gets to be whatever it does, even to where, many times the parent can't even talk to the child anymore. Things are so different, etc. And this is where it's kind of sad, because we've all grown up with distortion. Everything, basically, almost everything we've been taught is distortion. The Indians, the indigenous people, they didn't teach their children this nonsense and this junk that we have today. None of this, nothing like it. It was all about the environment and surviving with the environment, understanding the environment, because the environment supported you. That's what really supports us all, is the environment, not a job, not having a car, not having, going out and doing all this crazy stuff and having thrills and whatever, jumping off of mountains, jet skiing and whatever, It's not about that. There's just something so much more real, but again, it's all lost. Can't see it. Can't see the forest from the trees. In other words, you're standing in the forest, and again, just like Phil's experience, you're standing in the forest and you see the trees, but you don't know that you're in the forest because you're not objective enough to get above it, you might say, fly above it like Peter Pan and see that, hey, you're in the forest, dude. In other words, that's all you're seeing. You're just seeing the forest. You're not seeing anything else. You're not seeing that life is bigger. And getting people to do that, Eric, very real. And it's never a put down. It's not about that. It's about showing people how to get through it. But it's going to take you the rest of your life. That's real. Okay? Yeah, even with what I know and what I experience, and I can see it. I see the is. And if you ever do, that's, you have a lot of experience, but seeing the is and recognizing it, That's something else altogether. And so, yeah, but these experiences, it's a step at a time for you, and it's very, very good. The lesson here is that not to take things for granted. Like Kelsey, what she's doing is she's taking for granted what she's learned from myself and the Real Guides. And she's being stupid. And look at what they're doing. For what? What is the end result? Just so they can have control, just so they can do whatever, because they're bored. People that destroy are bored. You don't need to do that. Once you learn to see what all life is, it's an endlessness of awareness that's always new. Every step, every moment is new. Once you learn to recognize it. But in creation, you have things that are created, so bored people always look for something else. And when they don't have anything to do, what do? They hang around in gangs and they start saying stupid things, picking on each other, picking fights, walking somebody walk by, tripping them, laughing, doing all this stupid stuff. And actually, every person is a unique awareness, all their own. And all of us are in the same life. And this is what is not really recognized. There's not a different life. There's not different this or different cultures or whatever. Everybody has a different body type, but that's it. But their being is the same. You're a being of light. You're an awesome awareness that you cannot even fathom. And so these are just some of the very first experiences. And let's see how this goes. Things get funny, but I've seen it so many times. And people get into the power idea. They get into the white and black magician idea, etc., because all of a sudden they got knowledge. Now, any moment they can change, but that's not what it is. Again, like the sun shining, one of the best examples, shines upon all as a benefit. That's it. There's no destruction there or destroying anything. That's the whole idea, is to provide a benefit. And until you get to that point, then what are you doing? You see? Yeah, very sincere. And it's all about intent and recognizing this. There's so many pieces. It's so important because this lifetime is going to go very fast for you. In the blink of an eye, it's going to be 20 years. You blink again, 40 years. Pretty soon, you're going to be at that point where your body aches all day long. You got pain all day long. You got to deal with it. You'll be able to deal with it, but but the future here, shoot, there's no future here. They're planning by, I don't know how many years to just totally poison and annihilate this planet, which they're already doing. There's no mistake. Even just driving cars. The petroleum idea is purposely done. They tell you it's from old dinosaurs, and that's all baloney. That's all friggin' baloney. They give you stories, etc. It's all poison to keep you dumbed down, like the water, the fluoridated water, the radiation from, your cell phones, etc. It's all to keep you dumbed down. They're going to do more radiation. They're going to get to 6G to 10G. You're going to be walking around like a zombie. That's coming. Just like 5G. Look at 10 years ago. You had 1, 2G. Now you're at 5G. Totally dangerous. Totally lethal. It's going to get worse. Yeah, you're enduring it, but not for long. I know some people that are EMS sensitive. Boy, they can't touch computers or cell phone or nothing. They've got so much heavy metal in them. They got so many robotic nanotech in them, etc. Because those chemtrails up there, they're dropping it all. You're breathing it. That and so much more, guys. I saw this storm here that's coming. It's hitting California, and we get a little bit of it down here in Baja. I saw HARP on because there's a HARP installation off of Coronado. the islands over there, and I saw the sky with all the pulses and the clouds. I saw it coming. It pulsed this whole storm on, flooding and all these things. Anything that's bad, they're doing it. It's all weather control. So what you're seeing here is just another episode of people being stupid, making the choice, etc. So you have the guidance there. You want to really relish it and take advantage, because you have been looking for lifetimes for this, struggling and suffering for lifetimes to finally find this and finally recognize it and see. The rest of the world, they don't see it. You can see it. You see, you can see certain things. I don't look at all of it. I just wait to see what shows up. My only focus is sharing how to eventually recognize the is with others, because with that, you have everything. Otherwise, you got nothing. And that's true. No matter what you have, what thrills you go through, you'll just end up old here, just like everybody else. Take a look around. Look at the old people. What do they know? They don't know where they're going. They don't know where they've been. They don't know where they're at. They're all done. You want to be like that? Yeah, it's worth it to focus and learn what's real, and then help share it and forget yourself, and pretty soon you become more and more aware. That's how it works. Something real, not religion, not gods, not angels, not saviors, not pretty words and doctrines, masters and gurus and all this nonsense. Went through it. When I took over, when I took the position of the rod of power, I said, and I wrote about it, I said, days of masters and gurus are gone. Enough. We've had enough of this nonsense. It's time to get real and be okay like the sun shining. Don't need it. So, Eric, your experiences are really excellent. These are really good hints, okay, for you. And so you want to write them down and in a way creatively share them and share the new you, because it's worth it to you. Because again, you've looked for this for a long time and finally you got it. This is what it is now. And you're the decider. You're the decider. Yeah, that's pretty far out. Thank you for sharing it. I'm dealing with the Kalam God and all the knuckleheads and whatever in all of creation. I don't care what Kelsey does. They're duh. The thing being is that, again, see, you don't need to get wrapped up in that. Just stay focused. Stay contained. Stay focused like the sun shining. Look at the sun. The sun don't care. It's not concerned about, look at what's happened on the earth. Look at atomic weapons. I've seen on the real side, they've been shooting lasers at the sun, at the friggin' sun to destroy the sun. This is a game to them. Just like your video games. It's all a game. Let's all destroy. You see, look at the video games. Everything with the video games is destroy, destroy, destroy. This gets people in the mode to just, hey, let's go out and have fun. Let's go destroy something. You see how it's set up? Yeah, very real, very evil. And all you do is go into future lifetimes, and they sit back, the reptilians watch people from the real side and this side here, and just laugh at how stupid they are and how agreeable they are to self-destruction. Yeah. Look at the butterflies. Look at anything in nature, the birds and whatever. They don't do that. They don't do the stupid nonsense. They're very intuitive. But when you get in these human bodies, it's like you become stupid. So you have the chance to wake up and stop being stupid. Yeah, so I understand. Just keep an eye on it. That's the idea. That's where, when Gopal came in there, he's warning you. In other words, the idea is just keep an eye on it. Things happen. Well, they can see they're kids. They're thinking, Kelsey's thinking, oh, we're destroying this, we're destroying that. They're not doing anything. They're making themselves look stupid because that's what they are. They're being stupid. And actually, when they do this, whatever, just like all the things she's saying here about me and others and whatever, and we're this, we're that. And yeah, she's hurt a lot of people. yeah, these are some of the adventures we all go through, as we go along here to help wake us up, to really pay attention and don't take things for granted. Really be aware of what's going on, because things are not what you think they are. Not at all.
It sounds like they're trying to entrap Kevin. That's pretty crazy.
Yes, of course they are. Even on the real side, yes, because Kevin's very aware. Kevin's putting out videos all the time. Must have 1,000 videos out there on Instagram.
Yeah, he has a bunch.
Yeah, he has so many videos and telling it like it is. And one the other day, you should read that one a couple days ago. I mean, he's showing the future here. They're letting Kevin see the future. I see it too. I've seen the alien attack and all that. We've got a lot of stuff going, and they're just rampantly destroying the world, where everybody's going to be slaves in FEMA camps. This is what's coming up. Yeah, being shown it in different scenarios. And it just depends upon the agreement of people. That's why we're trying to wake people up, because, hey, it's going to get worse. Well, watch what's coming next. They're just amping it up. Yeah, and that's all depopulation, dudes. I knew about this coming 30 years ago. I knew about 9/11 when I was in the Secret Service. That's why I stepped back in 2001. I knew that the DC Corporation was going to do that. Yeah, it wasn't a bunch of Arabs and that. It's a DC Corporation. Their orders come from the monarchy. It's just to create disruption, create the Patriot Act, create more restriction. Now, all of a sudden, everybody in the United States becomes suspect. They are the terrorists. So when you go to the airport or you go to certain places, it's all locked down. You got to be screened and all this stuff like that. Yeah. And people they're setting people up to get more and more used to restriction. Yeah. So because they want your free will. They want you to willingly be restricted. You see, they don't want to, they can grab you and, throw you to the ground, lock you up or whatever, but they don't want to do that. They want you to be willing subjects, to where you just like adore the restriction, just like people that worship and pray to gods. They want you to just adore it. You see, it's just so willing. You see, they want that willingness. They just suck that up. Yeah, very real. Yeah, you're being screwed with, because that isn't what life is. Not at all. There's no gods. There's none of this nonsense. Life is an isness. It's an awesome freeness, endless awareness. Yeah. It's just more than you can even imagine. And yeah, these things, this is what has happened through history, and that, and a whole lot more. We've been so deceived here. Yeah, forget the history you read. It's all BS. Yeah. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, all this stuff, and all cute stories. It's all a bunch of nonsense. All these people are crooks and liars. They're all Masons. They're all whatever. Yeah, it's all nonsense. The whole political system and whatever. It's just to screw with people. That's all. Indians didn't have a government. They had communities, and they had their differences. Sure, everybody does, because we all agitate each other. The physical realm and creation is just automatic agitation. You have to understand how creation really is. It's cause and effect. And it is to agitate us purposely, so that we wake up and we see something else besides creation. So we go through the lifetimes, and eventually we've had enough being beaten and, gone through whatever we have, all the agitation, to where we start looking for something else. Because life itself wants us to be willing. Again, life has free will to be wonderful, just to be awesomely wonderful. That's how it is, complete. Ta-da, it's wonderful. And we have to decide, because we have free will, and this is, you might say it's respected, but it's more than that. It's just, this is how it is. You have free will to stay in creation and be dove, or to use your free will and surpass creation and be wonderful with all life. Yeah. See? Yeah. Life needs that. The only way you can be that way is with your free will, to be willing to do it and be it. Yeah. And it's way more than you can imagine. You can't even imagine it. It is so much better. So it takes a lot to learn to really see the isthmus, B and C. So it takes time. So in the meantime, just like in school, you go through the grades, you go through whatever it is, and give yourself time and just start to pay attention. Remember, all life is awareness. It's not thinking. It's not consciousness. It's not ideas. It's not creation. These are things we do in creation. It's awareness. Learn to see aside from your mind and your emotions. Learn to see the awareness that you already is. You see? It's so cool. I'm giving you the shortcut here, kids. More so than any nirvana or meditation or all these things. You don't need any of this nonsense. Just locks you into being silly. It's all silly. It's all tap lining. You don't need it. You don't need anything because you're already awareness. Learn to recognize it. And then be new every moment. It's so cool. Yeah. But in the meantime, you're going to have experiences too because you have the personal self. And you have to understand the personal self because the personal self helped you, the real you, recognize you. It really does. I know, it's funny, but that's how it is. And it really works. When you listen and you pay attention, you're going to get it. You'll be okay. But if you want to be silly and stupid and just go back to your old routines, you'll have nothing. You'll grow old. You'll just be a stupid old man. People will kick you and spit on you, and that's it. And you'll be out on the street somewhere, and nobody's going to care. And you'll just be all alone, and you won't even know what life is. Yeah. Most people are like that, and they go into the astral worlds. They don't know where they're at. They don't know what they're doing, so they reincarnate again and start again and try again. But there's no guarantee that somebody like me or someone else is going to have the awareness to give you a presentation to where you can wake up. That becomes the difference. Been a lot of lonely lifetimes. Yeah, and you won't even know. But now you do. Right now, you have the guidance and things that I'm presenting and what's being presented with the new books and everything I'm doing makes sense. Where the world doesn't make sense. It's freaking nuts. And it's going to go nuttier. Yeah, and it's not because I say so. It's because of what everybody's doing. I'm trying to just help people, figure it out a little bit, but it's huge. It's a lifetime course. You couldn't pay for this course. Yeah, don't take it for granted because it doesn't cost you dollars. It's not about that. It's more precious than anything. Yeah, I'm grateful every single moment. I focus on gratitude that I know this. It's so cool that I can see this and I recognize what's going on. And and so I just love to see others wake up too, but you have to be willing to pay attention. Yeah, it's precious. No, that's excellent. Very, very good. You're doing just terrific, way ahead of so many people.